Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Paul here, Northwest Indoor Golf. It's a new year, we've got some new product on the way, and today we've got a review coming up for you of the new Taylormade P.770 and P.7MC irons. So something of a selfish test today, because I'm actually looking at replacing the irons I'm using currently, and that is because these Mavrik Pros, as lovely as they are super strong in the lofts. 30.5 degrees loft on a 7 iron, so the ball speed out of these is insane. But that being said, for a pro level iron, the spin's occasionally a little bit low, and I often find myself hitting those flyers, particularly in the higher lofted irons, 9, 8, even 7 iron. So the P770 is designed similarly to the Mavrik Pro in that it produces good ball speed. It's quite forgiving on off-centre hits from what I've seen hitting it already, but plays at 33 degrees loft on the 7 iron instead of 30.5, so that's almost a whole club weaker by comparison. And then the P.7MC comes back a little further to 34 degrees. So, and I think the other thing is as well, this is a real nice looking golf club. So all 7 irons, and I have actually gone to the extent of duplicating the shaft setup of my own 7 iron. So I play a precision rifle 7.0, effectively a double X to reduce some of that backspin. So I'm going to be hitting the Taylormade 770 and MC with an identical shaft to my own. So let's jump into it and see how these compare. So I'm going to start off with the Callaway Mavrik Pro 7 iron. It's a 1/4 inch longer than standard, and I have got the Precision Rifle 7.0. The Taylormade heads are going to be set up with exactly the same shaft, exactly the same length, so you're going to be looking at differences between heads and also the lofts that these play as well. So I'm going to try and hit about 4 or 5 shots with each just to get a comparison of how they stand up against each other. Not super warm, but at least if we get 4 or 5 decent balls away with each of these, then I'll have something to assess in terms of averages. I do find myself hitting a few thin now and again, trying to hit this thing in the air. Thin again. These arguably perform better when I hit them thin because of the way that they're set up. So a couple more. Quite a nice one. So this is the 770, and I mean, there's no dispute. It's definitely a good looking iron. It is a hollow body head. It dresses behind the ball really nice. One of the things with these Taylormades, particularly something I saw from the 790 though, is even with the speed foam insert, they're quite clicky. So noticeable difference in the launch straight away actually. Spins jumped up to nearly 6,500 RPM. For a 7 iron's not too bad. Still quite good ball speed though, which is impressive. I mean, I just hit all of those so good. 770 is out. P.7MC is in. There's also an argument here that could be that you could make a lovely combo set out of these as well. I mean, just look at. Now on the dress it is a little bit smaller. You can see a bit more starting loss. So this is now going to be like 34 degrees. I'm not expecting the same ball speed as we were just getting from that 770, however, but let's see. That launches up straight away. That's taken off a whole lot higher. Actually struck that really well. Even though that was quite a centered hit, you don't feel the same stability. It's a strange feeling that you do get with likes of the 770 or the Mavrik Pro. That was thin. And launch is still good. Spin's still pretty good, but the drop off on ball speed over 10 miles an hour. So you're losing a massive amount of carry distance there, something like 20 yards on that miss hit. I'm not sure if that's something that I'm necessarily comfortable giving up. That was crushed. Right, last one. .123 ball speed, really high spin. So let's take a second and digest some of this information. So let's have a look at the overview, and we've got some pretty good dispersion circles from both of the Taylormade irons. Now, as I was expecting, the Callaway definitely was able to produce the longest carry distance, and the dispersion was a little bit wide. I think that was partially down to some of the striking. We've got the 770, very good dispersion, and also the P.7MC as well. For me, I'm thinking, well, is that distance compromise something I'm comfortable with? So if we jump over and take a look at the data. So for the three clubs that we've tested now, I'm looking at the swing speed, pretty similar across the board. Ball speed does vary a little bit. Surprisingly, the 770 was producing better ball speed than the Mavrik, which is, to me, not a surprise given that I was not actually striking the Mavrik Pro that cleanly. No surprise, however, that the P.7MC was the slowest ball speed of the bunch. It is the weakest lofted. It is the least powerful head of the three because it is a forged head rather than a hollow body with the speed foam injected. Attack angle similar, club path similar, so we are comparing these on like for like swings. But the biggest thing for me was the dispersion. I'm really pleased with the dispersion on the 770. They're a great looking iron as well, but we're looking at like 5,700 RPM a backspin on a 7 iron. I would expect that to be much higher on a thin strike as well. Now, going up to the 770 and the P.7MC, spin is 6,400, 6,500 respectively. That extra RPM of backspin is going to give you softer landing angles, slightly higher flight. I think the 770s might be a real strong contender for the irons for the new season. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, give us a thumbs up, get yourself subscribed to the channel. We've got loads more product reviews coming. We've got a whole host of stuff which unfortunately we're not allowed to talk about just yet, that is waiting to be reviewed. So stay tuned and we'll see you next time.